Hello everyone, if you're watching this recording, it's because you want to attend this virtual workshop from the Things Conference 2022. Actually, I will do this workshop live in real life in Amsterdam, the 23rd of September 2022. But I hope that people that cannot attend Amsterdam or want to learn how to give a second life to any LoRaWAN gateway, any flavor that you want, can just learn the lessons learned that I got here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Marc Pous. I'm developer advocate at balena.io. I'm from Barcelona, Spain, and I'm also running the IoT Barcelona community. I'm also running the IoT Stars, which is an event during the Mobile World Congress to meet all the IoT people. And finally, I'm also running the IoT Coffee Talk podcast that you can follow on the usual podcast platforms or on YouTube. Okay, so let's start. I don't know how many people here it's managing one gateway. I would like to see comments or experiences on how many devices, or at least if you are managing this one gateway. Actually, this talk was born to the Things conference ago, the first virtual one during the COVID, when actually I was about to present how to deploy a basic station on a LoRaWAN gateway, but at some point, we need to move from V2 to V3. So I realized that I was managing tons of gateways and I had to have a tool to manage them. So I would like to know the experiences of you, of the community, on how to manage, how do you do to manage one gateway? But usually it's not on your table, right? Maybe it's in your balcony, your terrace, in the roof, in a mountain, in another house where you don't have access to. So I would love to learn your experience if you manage one gateway, but I would love as well to learn the experiences if you manage more than one gateway. What do you do if you manage more than one? If you're watching this, you're virtual, so please leave comments on Hopin, on YouTube, on the platform where you're watching this, or just send me an email at marc@balena.io. But if you need to manage one or more than one gateway these days, you need to know something. I'm here to tell you that you are a fleet owner. Fleet owner is someone, it's a person who's responsible for building and managing groups of connected Internet of Things devices. Okay, so you have connected devices such as LoRaWAN gateways, or maybe not only LoRaWAN gateways, you have Zigbee or Z-Wave or Matter or whatever other type of devices, or even just your products. So you can be even a fleet owner, even if that's not a gateway per se. So in this talk, as we are all fleet owners, I would like to share with you all the lessons learned that I got, all the pains and gain that I got being a fleet owner. And to do that, I want to do very hands-on workshop. So if you have a Raspberry Pi with a LoRa concentrator like this, so here I have a Pi 4 with a rack 2287 LoRa concentrator, bring it with me, as I will try to show you how to do fleet management and how to give a second life to devices like these if you have them on your table or you don't use it anymore, or you're using them and they are not useful at all. So I'm going to show you how to give a second life and how fleet management tools are key to basically have the right tools to just get all the information or get all the power when you need to do any change to devices like this. So maybe you are not a fleet owner, and this will be your first project. If you have a Raspberry Pi on your table, it's easy to manage, right? You just flash an SD card, start testing things, plug it on your laptop, reflash your SD card, and that's simple. But once it disappears on your table, you will not be able to, make software updates, update the operating system, just SSH a device easily if you don't manage or you don't create an SSH platform to use. And then imagine that your project grows, it gets more popular, and you have 9 devices outside of your table. How do you manage them? What tools do you use? What systems, what stack would you like to use? And if your project gets very popular, then you will have a problem. On my experience, what I learned is that usually when the projects get into specific size, you don't have like a unique hardware for all your devices. So every time that you need to produce new hardware, versions change and you have different things. How do you manage one unique source code for all different versions of hardware or even architectures? So I'm going to as well talk about that. And this is as well an example of a fleet management. So there are companies actually, or people that probably have tons of gateways providing coverage. And you probably want to provide a specific service level agreement for your customers. So now you understand that you will need tools to apply diagnostics on your device, have an SSH access to the gateways, understand if they are online and offline, and if they have connectivity problems, what are the problems, or if the problems are related with your SD card or whatever things that could happen. On the other hand, maybe you set up gateways or remote places like these. So for sure, you don't want to like walk several hours to arrive where you have your gateway, because you need to change the SD card, or you don't know what is happening to the device. Understand what happened, get the latest logs of the device, get some persistent logs on the SD card to analyze after if there is any problem. One of the lessons learned that I got as when I understood that I was a fleet owner is that I needed a fleet management tool, and that's key. And what is a fleet management tool? What type of features a fleet management tool give me? So they are really important. First of all, they allow me to update the software running on these devices. As I said some minutes ago, I learned the hard way that I needed to update the software, the version of the Things network from V2 to V3. So if you don't have a tool that allows you to update the software remotely, what do you need to do? Just go and change SD cards to devices. That's a solution. But something that as well companies don't realize is that it's not only about updating the software of remotely. That this is super relevant because I have been working on projects that they didn't allow over-the-air updates on devices. And this is gonna be failure for sure. On 100% probabilities of this is a failure because a bug appears, a new feature request appears, etc. But it's really important that you allow as well remote host OS updates, so the operating system can be updated. Why? Because you will need new Linux kernel packages on your Linux operating system. Linux kernel has bugs, so the bugs get solved. So you need to update that and get security patches and so on. So I have seen a lot of fleet management tools that say, sure, we do software update. Okay, do you do operating system updates as well? Oh, no, we don't do that. We don't provide that. So that's really important. That's key as well, because you don't want to run a company that it's super innovative, but at the end you're running an operating system that it's 10-year-old and you have to maintain it with engineers that probably don't want to maintain a really old operating system version, right? Second, you need tools to understand what's going on with the device. So you need tools like to access to the logs. You need tools to SSH the device or get web access, get a public URL to access to that device. If it exposes something on the port 80 or whatever port, you want to run diagnostics on the device, so you can know if there is a problem, that a service that it's restarting a lot of times, problem with connectivity, problem with DNS, because it's behind a firewall and the customer doesn't know that, or problems with the SD card. Maybe if you're using a single board computer that it's running an SD card, maybe that's a problem. Sometimes it's interesting to run this type of diagnostic tools to understand remotely what's going on the device and try to prevent those problems. When you see that an SD card has problems, has like a slow reads and writes, maybe it's time to change the SD card. And third point, and for me, it's really key, and I'm trying to advocate towards that direction. From my point of view, web developers have more privileges than IoT developers or embedded developers. My feeling is that some of the embedded tools and IoT development tools are still very 20th century. The web technology, for example, it's super advanced on continuous integration, continuous deployment, on the open source, on containers, etc. And what I'm trying, and actually Balena is trying, it's try to push those technologies into the IoT and the embedded world. So we start to use a top-notch 21st century technologies as well on the IoT development. My recommendation is embrace open source stacks. Don't get locked in unless your company force. Start using technologies such as containers and etc. Because the systems are start to be ready to run on single board computers and even microcontrollers. And finally, use something like continuous integration, continuous deployment from GitHub repositories into the devices. So there are already GitHub actions running that are able to flash your fleet of devices automatically from GitHub, for example. So my recommendation basically it's start using 21st century tools as they are here and they are ready to you for being used. So what is my recommendation once I explain that every fleet owner needs a fleet management tool? Okay, here I'm going to be a bit biased. I did a big disclaimer when I introduced myself. I'm developer advocate at Balena. So I'm going to explain what we can do at Balena. But there are other solutions that you can use actually. And as said, so at Balena, we provide an open source stack of everything that I'm going to show you today and on the hands-on workshop. So feel free to use that. But in case that you don't know what is Balena, that could be, let me show you something. Do you know this? Is this familiar for you? If it is familiar for you, please let me know on the comments, please. Just put the comments. Yes, I use Etcher. Okay, this is Balena Etcher. This is one of the most used software to flash SD cards or USB drives. In case that you want to reflash your laptop or your computer with a new operating system. Actually, if you use Etcher, you know how we do software at Balena. Okay, when we do something, we try to reduce friction to fleet owners. And one of the frictions that we saw at the beginning at Balena is that some of the fleet owners had problems to flash SD cards with USB drives, to flash operating systems on IoT devices. So this is why we created a tool like Etcher, just to try to reduce friction to these fleet owners of IoT devices. And then, luckily we help other fleet owners or other developers to flash operating systems on their laptops, for example. But Balena, it's not just Etcher. Balena, basically, it's a fleet management tool that allows software updates on the devices that belongs to your fleet, and as well operating system updates, and as well provides a tool to manage all your fleet of devices. To achieve that, we have different products. Okay, the first product, maybe the backbone of everything, it's a Balena OS. Okay, the Balena operating system, it's an open source Linux operating system, which it's based on Yocto. And actually, it's the operating system that allows us to do everything. And this is why we run our favorite Linux operating system, because it allows, for example, to run on different devices, getting the benefit of using Yocto. And actually, something as well that it's really interesting is that on Balena OS, you only can run containers. Okay, we don't allow to run anything on the host OS. Everything must be on a container. So this is why we make the Balena Engine product. The Balena Engine product, it's basically based on the Docker Mobi project. So any Docker container, it's compatible with Balena Engine. What we did is we optimized Docker Mobi for IoT and embedded devices, reducing the memory consumption, creating deltas, and some other features that are really important on the IoT scenario. Once you have an operating system that it's open source, running Docker containers as well on an open source project, Now you have a fleet management tool, which is Balena Cloud, which is our premium system, where you can manage all the fleets of your devices there and manage all the software updates you do to the devices that are running Balena OS and Balena Engine. Or you can run the open source version of that, which is Open Balena, wearing the t-shirt of Open Balena, that you can deploy on your server on Amazon or whatever you want, and just have the same features, the same API calls, and everything that you have on Balena Cloud, but just running on your server on everything open source. By the way, on the demo that I'm going to do in some minutes, I'm going to show everything on Balena Cloud. You can connect that to 10 devices for free. So yeah, I think that if you have a fleet of 10 LoRaWAN gateways, you can run them for free. We understand if you have more than 10 LoRaWAN gateways, maybe you're running a business or something like that. This is why we have the premium companies to pay for that. If not, you can run Open Balena. We are happy to help you and to give you support if you run Open Balena. We actually have developers in the community building in UIs and extra features on Open Balena that we are happy to guide you there and get similar experience on running Balena Cloud. Another product, as I mentioned before, it's Balena Etcher, just to help fleet owners to flash Balena OS or any other operating system on IoT devices or on laptops or computers. And finally, we have Balena Fin, which it's a hardware. So we created a hardware, which is a Raspberry Pi carrier board based on Compute Module 3 of Raspberry Pi, basically as well to reduce the friction of companies who didn't know how to make hardware. So we create this industrial grade board with a coprocessor, with the Raspberry Pi pins, with an MPACIe port, 2 cameras, etc., just to accelerate the adoption and to reduce friction to fleet owners to bring more hardware and more products into the market. How it works internally a Balena device. Okay, so basically, as explained before, Balena device basically needs Balena to run Balena OS, which has the Linux kernel. Depending on the architecture that you use, depending on the hardware, the layers that you need, the pin, the GPIO that you have, so that might change. On the top of that, we have the user space with the systemd, network manager. We use network manager to manage all the networking and some other libraries. And on the top of that, we run our container engine, just to run to manage all the containers running on the top. We have a container which is transparent to all of our users, which is called supervisor. Okay, and the supervisor, it's responsible to maintain connection between the device in the edge and Balena Cloud or Open Balena. So it's as well, it's responsible to maintain a VPN connection and other connections, API connections with Balena Cloud. So if there is a software update or an operating system update, it's responsible just to manage all of these, download the latest release, deploy it on the device, change the volumes, and so on. And then along with the supervisor, there are all the containers running. You will see it on the demo right now. We are not going to use projects with a lot of services. Actually, I'm running another workshop where we are deploying like 7-8 services together. We're running the things as stack with different databases, with Grafana, Node-RED, InfluxDB, and MQTT all together, and a packet forwarder as well. So you can run a lot of containers on a Balena device using just a single board computer. To do that, we have a minimum requirement. You need half gig of RAM at least and 4 gigs of memory. That means that this only runs on single board computer. We support almost 100 different device types. Most of them are ARM architecture devices from 32 to 64 bits. We as well support x86 devices. But that's the interesting part that I mentioned before. So you can have a different hardware on your fleet and manage all of them with the same source code. Okay, that's something as well really important, that you don't have a lot of different versions of software to run on your fleet of devices. Okay, so conclusion as well of that Balena is only compatible for single board computers is that it's not compatible with microcontrollers, or it's not compatible for microprocessors either. That's popular on the LoRa wall. we can run on most of the LoRaWAN gateways that are based on single board computers, for example. We have to say that the LoRaWAN gateways is one of the biggest use case on Balena, and we run hundreds of thousands. We manage, or our customers actually use Balena to manage their fleet of hundreds of thousands of LoRaWAN gateways today. Then, if you use a fleet management tool with all the good things that I mentioned before, you can start giving second life to anything. If you have, single board computers around you, or you have them deployed and they are not usable anymore, you can give them a second life. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. Let me brief a little introduction of a LoRaWAN network architecture, just to position everything that we have. On the one side, we have the devices. In this case, I'm going to use the WISBlock from Rack. I'm not sure if you know it, but it's a modular LoRa node where you can add new, in this case here, I have a GPS, but here I have an environmental sensor. So you can start adding new sensors on these type of connectors that I'm not sure about the name. The next, these devices send radio messages to gateways that through the packet forwarder convert through the concentrator, and thanks to the packet forwarder converts LoRa radio modulated messages into IP messages and send these IP messages to the LoRa network servers, to the LNS. And then the LNS just integrates with whatever client application it's there or whatever protocol that you need. There are different LoRaWAN network servers. Yeah, we are at the things Stack conference or the things network conference. So this is what we are going to use. But there are others such as ChirpStack or Helium and many others. Today we're going to focus on the gateway. As I said before, most of the single board computers are gateways, and most of the single board computers that most of the LoRaWAN gateways that we manage, they are based on ARM devices or x86 devices these days. So I'm going to show on this demo how to give a second life to a fleet of hotspots that are based on Helium data only hotspots that basically don't give any HNT these days, or never ever, because it only gives rewards that it's like 0.00001 HNT for data relaying or but this packet forwarding. If you have a fleet of that and you want to give a second life and probably create a LoRaWAN network for other projects based on the Things network or the Things stack, or in this case as well, I'm going to show the Things stack discovery. I'm going to show you these now live here. Okay. Yeah, say it. If you have a Raspberry Pi with a LoRa concentrator, please bring it here because we are going to do it together. A bit of a diagram. So we are going to start with a Helium data only hotspot. Okay, running on Balena. I'm going to show you now the project. And then through an over-the-air update, we are going to convert that Helium data only hotspot into a basic station gateway, relaying the data that receives from LoRa nodes to the Things network or the Things stack discovery or the industry's discovery product. But actually, you can do the other way around. So if you have a fleet of the Things network gateways, you can convert them into Helium data only hotspots if you want in just one click, as you're gonna see. Or we can convert them into ChirpStack or whatever you want. It's really simple, as I'm gonna see, but it's very simple just because we are using fleet management tools. Okay, and we can get the advantage and get the benefit of using this type of tools that give superpowers to you as a fleet owner. On the menu for today, we have a fleet of LoRaWAN gateways running on Balena. If they are not running on Balena, we can be more innovative and maybe, we will need to change the SD card. Honestly, we have a takeover script, which is open source. You can Google Balena takeover script that you can, if you're running Ubuntu or any other operating system, maybe a Raspberry Pi OS, it as well works on that. You can take over and just script just deploys Balena OS on that, the supervisor, and then Balena OS take over on that on those devices. But I'm not going to cover that today. I know that the team is working on a version of the takeover script. But yeah, this is not the topic for today. So in case that you have a fleet of devices deployed everywhere, but they are not running on Balena, just send me a message, send me an email at mark@balena.io, and let's talk. Then what we are going to do is we're going to create another fleet. And with that other fleet, we are going to move the fleets of hotspots to that fleet. And then automatically they are going to auto provision to the Things Network or to the Things Stack or the Things Industries Discovery plan. And then, yeah, we will be able to start sending data to them. Yeah, let's start. I repeat, I have my Raspberry Pi 4. You can run Raspberry Pi 3 here as well. I'm sure this is going to work. Actually, the Helium data only application that we are running here, it's compatible up to Raspberry Pi 0 W. So yeah, try it. That might work. I'm running a Pi Hat from rack, and I'm running a rack 2287. But yeah, I'm not sure this Helium data only application runs with a rack 2245. We might check that. But everything that I'm going to run here, it's available on Balena Hub. Okay, Balena Hub, it's a marketplace for IoT and edge computing applications. That means that, yeah, if you're an IoT developer or an IoT professional, first you can find here tons of different applications, fleets, and what we call blocks, which are like Lego blocks or SDKs or libraries that you can add, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And yeah, one of the applications that we have, it's the Helium data only hotspot that I made. And just clicking deploy, you can deploy this on Balena Cloud. As said, yeah, you will need to sign up and get up to 10 devices for free. You don't need to add any credit card or anything. If you have the README here, you also can access to the GitHub repo that I have here. So on the GitHub repo, you as well have the same README that on Balena Hub. Basically, I explain here how to run the Helium hotspot. It runs automatically. How to get the key, if you run a Helium hotspot, I'm not sure if you know that, but you need to add that into the blockchain. You need to pay some fees based on data credits. So you will need to create a Helium wallet and just create your wallet, create your IDs, and then just make a transaction. And once that it's done, like a key, it's going to be created on your data-only hotspot, and you will be able to start receiving your HNT, your tokens, every time that you forward data. Okay, I'm not going to show the Helium console or anything. You can use it on console.helium.com. I have a good friend who is also running this Helium IoT console. So yeah, you can run your devices from here. Your LoRa gateways. It's interesting that some of them give different amount of data credits. So you can play for free during some time before you get everything running. So yeah, but I'm not going to cover that today. I'm only going to show that some data can be transferred on these devices. So yeah, I deployed these on a fleet, which it's called on Balena Cloud, which it's called Helium Data Hotspot. I only have one device. Yeah, on the workshop I'm going to show these with more devices connected. Sorry for that on this video, but yeah, we can run multiple plates of devices. It is ready to work with multiple devices. I have a map. I can see here my device. I can see it on a table. My device, it's called Modify. Okay, and if we access to the device, we see the logs. We see some information here, such as my local IP address, MAC address, which Balena OS version it's running. It's running on development. I strongly recommend to run on production if your device is going to be in production. But if not, if you are on development, just put it on development and you can run it on local mode. I'm not going to cover that today, but yeah, just an idea to give you some hints in the future if you are developing on Balena. Actually, on this terminal, you can SSH on the different services. In this case, I SSH to the Helium Miner service. You can see I have only two services, Packet Forwarder and Helium Miner. And I get the key info of this device. It's a skinny coral wombat device. Okay. All right. So I'm not getting any HNT on this skinny coral wombat. So yeah, I get bored of the, imagine this is a scenario that I got bored of this and I want to move this device to run a basic station and just make the things network coverage bigger. Or for example, I'm an IoT professional and I want to just make a professional network for a company, for a customer, and I want to just give a second life to this hotspot and to install it in the house of my customer. So things that you need to do, basically, it's go to Balena Hub and search basic station. It's made by one of the Balena ambassador, Jose Perez, who also works at RAC. He's one of the most expert guys on LoRa in the world, and he's very helpful on the community. Something that it's important, well, it's a curiosity, is that on the helium data hotspot, it's using the legacy packet forwarder with UDP, and we are gonna start using for the things network the latest packet forwarder that it's called Basic Station, that it's based on WebSockets. Okay, so we are gonna deploy that. To deploy, we are gonna click deploy. I already did for the sake of time. Yeah, I'm not gonna deploy it live, but we're gonna access to the basic station fleet. So what I'm gonna do, basically, I'm gonna move my device once I deployed the new application with the basic station from Balena Hub. I'm gonna move my device to that basic station fleet that I just created and have no devices on it. Okay, so it's easy. I just click move device. I created a fleet called basic station Jose. That's simple. Sorry, Jose. And I just move my device to that fleet. Okay, this fleet has two devices. One it's offline and one it's online. Okay, here we can see the operating versions of every device, the supervisor version of every device. I say we can update the operating system of devices. I'm not going to do that in this demo. Okay, but okay, the supervisor, it's now connecting. All right, so now, yes, say the supervisor, it's just talking with Balena Cloud, and it sees that there are new services. It's killing the old services from the previous application, and it's just downloading the new services from this new application on this fleet. It's deleting the images and downloading images, and once everything it's gonna be ready, it's gonna start the new container called basic station. Okay, fantastic. So now it's running and everything worked well. So we see here that we have an error. We are connecting first of all to the things network, to the community version. Okay, and we see that our gateway basically it's unregistered. Okay, so we are gonna try to do something new on the basic station, and it's to do an auto provision. So we are gonna add a personal API key and my username on the things network, and just with that data, we will try to get my gateway auto provision on the things network console. Just create it itself, get an API key, and store that API key as a TC key on Balena Cloud, and automatically work. Okay, let's try it. Okay, I'm in Europe 1. So I have no gateways here. I go to my personal key. I'm gonna create a new API key. Ethics Conference 2022. Test 101. And I will grant all the, everything. I'm not sure if this is right, but this is what I'm gonna do. By the way, I'm gonna open the GitHub repo of Joseph, where we have all the documentation from all the device variables. Okay, so there are some device variables that are working automatically, but I need to check if the model that I have on this is correct, the interface. I'm using SPI, for example, but yeah, if you use USB on your LoRa concentrator, yeah, you need to change that on the Balena Cloud device variables. So let's check that. So let's go to the device variables. Okay. I see, yeah, that the model, we need to change that rack 5146 to SX1302. We also can do rack 2287, but yeah, I always prefer to do this. I'm in the European region. TC key, I don't have, yeah, it's going to be automatically deployed. Okay, fantastic. That's that should be enough. Then, as said, so if we have a fleet of 100 of LoRaWAN gateways, I don't want to go one by one provisioning it to the console. So the recommendation here is that, yeah, we have these are device variables, but we have fleet variables as well at the fleet level. So if we change from the fleet levels of variables, they will affect all of the devices. So for example, my personal API key might affect all of the devices, or my, yeah, the things network username also needs to go as a fleet variable, right? So we go here, and we are gonna need to add this. Okay, so this is why we open this, and we are gonna add TTS username. TTS username giant, and same handle on Twitter. Okay, and the other it's TTS personal key. And if I'm not wrong, I copy it. So I'm gonna add it. And this is gonna get inherited by all the devices on my fleet. I didn't mention that, but every time that we update device variables, these device variables, so the devices get restarted. Okay. Okay, we wait the restart, yeah. And after a restart, we see that, yeah, it's starting, yeah, and it looks like it's working. Let me connect, yeah, a LoRaWAN node. Swiss block. It's sending environmental data. At least to see, yeah, that it restarted properly. And yeah, it looks like, yeah, it received data. That's super cool. Let's go to the console. Okay, yeah, it's connected. Yeah, and it's receiving uplinks. Awesome. Fantastic, yeah. We need to create the application somewhere, yeah. Yeah, so it's connected. Yeah, we might need to create the application, but yeah, this is not the probably for this. Yeah, you can ask me how to do it, and I can help you. But yeah, it works. So let's try now to reprovision this device to the things stack. So I created other things industries organization called Balena. Okay, and let's gonna provision the gateway here. Okay, for that we are gonna need to change the server variable. Okay, we have here this server, which is the host machine that hosts the LNS. Okay, it's automatically created if you use the things network, but if you use the things industries, yeah, you have to, or you use your own instance, you have to create it. Okay, so let's do it. So in this case, I'm going to add the TTS tenant. Let's go. You can see here the TC key as well. So TTS tenant, it's Balena. Okay, so just changing the TTS tenant to something different. So the default value at CTN, so when the default value, so if the variable it's not created, it goes to the default value. If you have an organization, you just add this tenant here, and then it will automatically connect to the things industries. Okay, in case that you don't have any tenant organization on the things industries, and you have your own instance, then you're just adding your TC URI and then your TC Trust, your certificate for that automatically will work. What we are doing here is as well to manage all the certificates that are behind all of the connections among services. So adding this, that might work. The only thing that we might need is as well to add the personal API key. Okay, so I will add a new personal API key. It's TDC 2022 test 101, and I will grant everything. Okay, I copy it, and I have to remember that my username here, it's, if I'm not wrong, Marc-Balena. Okay, so I need to change that, but we are not going to change this here. I'm going to change this on the fleet level. Okay, so everything it's going to connect to the things industries. So I'm going to change this to Marc-Balena. And then we're going to change the personal key to the one that we generated now. Okay, so let's see, if the device auto provisions to the things industries. Let's get fingers crossed. Okay, restarting the service. Let's see if it works. Okay, looks like, concentrator started on, let's check the, on the things industries. This is the ELNS service on my, on the balena, the things service organization. Let's see if it gets data from this node. Yeah, it's LoRa data, so it should, let's restart the device. And we see that it receives data. Obviously, we don't have the application created on that, but it works. So done. Wow, we made it. Okay, wow, that was a blast. What a demo. Oof, I hope you like it, and I'm not sure if you could follow me, but this video is on YouTube or I don't know what platform, so I'm sure that you can just stop and continue. Maybe I talk too fast, sorry for that. Okay, so why do we do this? Basically, the balena mission is to unlock the promise of physical computing by reducing the friction for fleet owners. And we think that the best way to reduce friction for fleet owners and to accelerate and unlock the promise of physical computing and IoT and make it the IoT a reality, is to create a fleet management tool and to allow to make them software updates, host OS updates, and provide diagnostics, SSH, etc. to fleet owners to make the IoT a reality. We want to help you to accelerate and we are open sourcing as well these tools to allow everyone and enable everyone to make it happen. As I said at the beginning, we want to push IoT developers and the community and professionals to start using 21st century tools on the IoT. Stop using FTPs for IoT projects. I'm tired of listening. You will need to send data to this FTP from your devices will need to download configurations from. Stop that. Okay, start using the right tools. Okay, start using fleet management tools to start growing. Okay, and of course, if you have a device on your table, on your drawer and wardrobe, wherever that you are not using, give them a second life and convert them into useful devices. Provide LoRaWAN coverage so everyone can get benefit of that. And of course, don't forget to add put a fleet management tool there to get access to it and understand what's going on with this device. Thank you. Questions? I want to read your questions. Please add your questions on the comments here. Just send me emails, send me tweets. But yeah, I want to hear your voice, your experience, your pains and gains. I'm all ears. Thank you very much. Have a good day.